Welcome everyone, my name is Kibby, and today we're going to give you a foolproof and simple guide to unlocking the Gentlemage's Umbrella. The Gentlemage's Umbrella is a new Blue Mage weapon introduced in patch 6.45 and is the first ever dyeable weapon for Blue Mage. Don't let the long runtime of this video scare you. I'm just being thorough here, and you will likely be able to skip around between sections of the video and even skip the entire fight. I will show the entire fight at the end of this video, however several sections just repeat the same mechanics over and over again, and it does get a little bit repetitive, so don't feel like you need to see the entire video just to understand how this fight works. There will be timestamps listed on screen and in the comments so that you can move between sections easily, but I wanted to start this video by explaining why it even exists in the first place. As with the Friar Rush weapon from the previous Blue Mage patch, the new Gentleman's Umbrella is locked behind the newest Masked Carnival stage, a golden opportunity, which must be completed while satisfying several extra challenge conditions in order to unlock the achievement All That Glitters is Blue. Unlocking this achievement will then allow you to purchase the new weapon for 800 allied seals from the Blue Mage vendor in Ul'dah. In this guide, I will show you a strategy which will generally allow you to survive the entire gauntlet while satisfying these conditions in a way that is accessible to people who may not be as fluent or familiar with Blue Mage gameplay. This will not be the fastest time, the cleanest clear, or the most optimal build for getting this achievement, but I hope that it makes gaining that umbrella a little bit easier so that you can finish out your dapper Blue Mage glams. In order to unlock the All That Glitters is Blue achievement, you'll need to complete Stage 32 of the Masked Carnival, defeating Goldor while satisfying the following conditions. Number 1, you must not sprint. Honestly, take the sprint button off your hotbar, don't let it tempt you. Sprint no longer exists for the remainder of this fight. Number 2, you must hit Goldor with at least one spell using every type of magic: fire, water, earth, wind, electric, and ice. I'm not certain if this needs to be done in both stages, so in this guide I'll just advise that you use one of each spell during each phase to ensure that the condition is satisfied for the achievement. It's not too hard to do, so I would just unload them right in the beginning of the fight and make sure that you got those hits in. And number 3, the worst part of it all, do not kill the crystal in the second phase. The crystal is an ad that is on the outside of the arena during Act 2 of this fight, which renders Goldor immune to magic damage. This means you have to be prepared for a complete lockout of all but a few spells during the second phase, so that second phase may become somewhat of a crawl. Don't worry, the mechanics are pretty easy overall, so it's more tedious than difficult. With that out of the way, let's cover a basic spell loadout. Now there are several spells which will be completely necessary for this challenge, and I'll outline those first. All spells mentioned will be followed by their spell number so that you can easily find them in your spellbook, and are also pictured on screen right now in the order that I mentioned them. Feel free to just pause right here and add them to your bars if you'd like, or keep listening if you'd like a brief explanation of how they'll be used during this fight. First, you'll need one interrupt spell, for which I have chosen Flying Sardine, number 24. This could be replaced with Bad Breath, number 28. However, I find that Flying Sardine is more optimal because of its instant cast time, which means it can be used while moving and without any preparation. So if you forgot to start casting your interrupt, don't worry. Bam, fish in the face. Second, you'll need Ultra Vibration, number 92, and a spell that can inflict the Deep Freeze condition. I've opted to use the Ram's Voice, number 33, as it does AoE damage and can hit both Goldor and the ad at the same time, and the ad can then be killed using Ultra Vibration. In this way, you hit him with ice damage as you need to for the achievement, and you freeze the enemy which needs to be killed. Third, Loom, number 7. During both phases of the fight, Goldor will cast a gravity spell which causes an unremovable heavy status effect on your character, making movement impossible. You will need Loom to avoid his attacks while afflicted with heavy. Fourth, Diamondback, number 29. This spell is 100% necessary to survive gaze beams from the Calcabrina dolls that are summoned during the second phase of the fight, so bring it along. I know this spell is annoying because it locks you down for 10 seconds, but don't worry. You really only need to use this once during this fight. Fifth, you'll need some kind of healing spell. Honestly, I used White Wind, number 13. It's very MP intensive, but as long as you keep lucid dreaming throughout the fight, it shouldn't really be a problem for you in terms of managing your mana. And sixth, Exuviation, number 73. Goldor will cast a removable lightning dot, which you'll want to remove as soon as possible because that hurts. With all of these spells equipped, here are a few others that I found helpful and which will likely help you to clear this fight much faster. First up, obviously, Etheric Mimicry, number 77. I personally mimicked a tank because it increases the potency of Goblin Punch to 320, and Goblin Punch will be the primary skill used throughout the second act of the fight. So this was very helpful in dealing with Goldor more quickly. Other people have used a healer mimicry to their advantage, but as it only really increases the potency of exuviation in my personal build, I found the extra damage from tank mimicry to be helpful. Speaking of Goblin Punch, you should also add Goblin Punch, number 105. This ability becomes a 320 potency attack from the front when mimicking a tank, and is a physical spell, which means it will be very helpful during the second phase of this fight when only physical attacks are available. Any other physical spell will work here, but I found this to be extremely useful, especially due to its instant cast time. It should be noted that this has to be within melee range, so you do need to be close to the boss, but there is plenty of opportunity to do this for most of the second phase. Third, Mighty Guard, number 30. This is helpful in the second phase, where some mechanics can cause random, unavoidable lightning puddles, which may be an instant kill if you don't have the proper defenses up. Mighty Guard will not be active during most of the fight. You'll only use it during one specific mechanic, as it reduces your overall damage by 40% and can make the entire battle a massive slog. If you're silly like me and leave it on for one round, it can be a little bit of a problem. Fourth, Abyssal Transfixion, number 55. This spell is just nice to have because it's this ranged attack which is also physical. That's useful for when you're too far away from the boss to use Goblin Punch. Fifth, Sonic Boom, number 63. This 1-second cast makes it great for attacking from the distance and does wind damage, which is important for both the achievement and the fire adds which appear during the first act of the fight, which are weak to wind damage. With all of these spells equipped, now let's focus on our elemental damage. So far, we have Ice covered by Ram's Voice and Wind covered by Sonic Boom. For Lightning, I use number 47, Shock Strike. For Earth, I have Mountain Buster, number 46, which I recommend regardless of your build because it also does physical damage, meaning it will be effective during the second phase when only physical attacks can hit. For Fire, I used Mortal Flame, number 121, which is a set and forget fire-based dot, which will keep doing damage in perpetuity for the rest of the fight. Just cast it once and you're good. You should know that this cannot be the first cast of the fight, as if it is the first cast of the fight, it will not apply the dot. You'll have to cast it again. As such, I recommend opening with something like Abyssal Transfixion or Sonic Boom, and then casting Mortal Flame. And finally, for Water, I used Sea Shanty, a water-based OGCD. To fill out the rest of my book, I used Night Bloom, number 104, which does significant damage and also adds a 75 potency dot. Triple Trident, number 81, which does physical damage as well and thus can be used during the second phase. Being Mortal, number 124, a very strong OGCD. Feather Rain, number 44, a wind-based area of effect attack which can be useful in both adding wind damage for the achievement and doing wind damage to the fire adds in the first act of the fight. Winged Reprobation, number 118, a ranged physical attack with 300 potency and a 1-second cast time, making it useful for quick casts during the second phase. It can be also used as a combo with Conviction Marcato, number 116. After 4 casts of Winged Reprobation, Conviction Marcato can be cast for 440 potency. However, Conviction Marcato only deals magic damage, so it's only useful for the first act. Serpenaka, number 78, a 4-part very powerful cast which, as a bonus, does earth damage. And finally, Breath of Magic 109, a 120 potency dot that will last for 1 minute and can be stacked with Night Bloom. Stacking these together will give you a 195 potency dot, which is nearly enough to double the amount of damage you'll do if just spamming one attack over and over again. It is a lot of damage to add. With all of that scripted stuff out of the way, I'm going to speak a little more candidly here as we go through this fight. I'm going to show you the fight as I did it and give you a little bit of narrative about the mechanics that are happening and how you can resolve them as well. Of course, things to remember going into this are that you should use as many spells as possible all the time. That's how you do more damage and defeat him faster. Now, defeating him faster is good because it means it takes up less of your time, but remember that there is no actual time limit for this achievement, and you can be hit as many times as you'd like as long as you survive. The important 3 rules for this run are that you cannot sprint, you must use every form of magic, that's earth, fire, wind, ice, electric, and water. And to top it off, you cannot destroy the crystal in the second phase. I'll point out that crystal when it spawns. Once that crystal spawns, you must only do physical damage to Goldor. You could do other types of damage, or at least try to, but they won't work. Only physical damage will work once the crystal has spawned. I may edit some of this commentary to be a little more coherent. However, I would like to do as much of this off the cuff as I can, so I apologize if it's a little harder to follow. Hopefully this will give you enough information to be able to take on this challenge by yourself and get that umbrella. We'll go to number 32 there, a golden opportunity, and start. Here you can see I've got my umbrella out and ready to go. I open with a Sonic Boom, which gives me wind damage, and Mortal Flame, which gives me fire damage. He begins to cast Goldor Blizzard 3, which I interrupt with the Sardine, and just lay into him with every spell that I can. From here I start Goblin Punching, and then Serpenaka, and he starts to cast Goldor Fire 3. This will chase you with fire AoEs. Technically, you could get a 1-second cast in between every single one of those fireballs, but since the point is to stay alive, I opted to just run around for this run. Here's Slimy Summon, in which he'll add a slime ad to the middle of the arena. If you use Ram's Voice, you can freeze that, and then Ultra Vibration will kill it. This gets your ice damage in on him, and he'll start Goldor Quake, which does these ring AoEs. You need to be outside of the first one, and then move in so that you can avoid the second one. You continue to whittle him down from there. Goldor Fire will create fire ads all around the arena. You'll only need to kill one, and they are weak to wind damage, so I save my Feather Rain for right then so that it can do some damage to those, and then also use Sonic Boom, also does wind damage. Now you'll see the AoEs that these create. There's a little petal in front of him, like a flower that you can stand on. That'll knock you into that spot. Just avoid his Goldor Blast there, and here's Goldor Gravity. This will make it so that you can't move. You're going to need Loom to move out of the way of his attacks because of that heavy. That heavy cannot be removed with Exuviation. I heal between these. You have time for 1 GCD between each of these Looms. If you try to do more, sometimes you'll make it, but I don't recommend doing it. Remember, we're playing on the safe side here. Goldor Thunder will create a Thunder Dot on you, which can be removed using Exuviation. There's Exuviation. That Thunder will also create these random puddles around here, which are pretty easy to dodge at this point. However, they will come up again in the second phase, along with Fire and Quake. All three will be cast at the same time. Here's Goldor Blizzard again. You can interrupt that with Sardine. If you're not aware, you can always tell if something can be interrupted because the cast bar flashes. If you back up a little bit, you'll see that, as compared to Goldor Fire, which is just a solid color the whole time. Here's Goldor Fire. Same as last time, except he'll cast his Thunder at the same time, which will create those random lightning puddles and also give you the lightning dot. You'll want to use Exuviation there as well, and then he'll knock you back into that spot once again. You can continue to whittle him down from here. That's a good point. Remember to use Lucid Dreaming as often as possible, especially if your heal is White Wind like mine was. You'll want to make sure that you don't run out of MP. Here he's using Gravity again, so we'll Loom out of the way, hit him once, Loom out of the way. Oh, I guess I decided to hit him twice. I was a little silly there. Continue with the Sonic Booms from a distance, and then Goblet Punch when you're up close. Get a triple Trident in there, why not? He begins to cast Goldor Fire again, which would follow you, but as you can see, I defeated him before that started again. Do remember that the fire does follow you, so you'll need to continue running if you get to that mechanic again. Here in Phase 2, I'm going to make a couple of changes. I'm going to switch out Sonic Boom for Abyssal Transfixion, because Abyssal Transfixion is a physical attack, Sonic Boom is wind, and pretty early in this fight, we're going to need to use physical attacks. I also switch out Mountain Buster and Shock Strike. They share a cooldown, and while Mountain Buster is a earth-based attack. It does earth physical damage, so it does actually work for the second phase. It's a good little extra bit of damage to throw on him. Here we have a Shining Summon. He summons a bunch of golems, and they'll create cross AoEs. You want to stand behind them and to one of the sides, as you'll see, but he will knock you back here, so it's pretty easy to get positioned in one of those spots. Those will come back later, as will this next summon, which are Calcabrina dolls. They have a large cone, and you'll have to survive 2 of them, which is why you'll need Diamond back. At the same time, he's going to cast Goldor Quake, so you move to the outside, so the first one goes off, move to the inside, and then move back to the outside here, so that you're outside and only in 2 of those cones. Diamond back so that you can survive it, and we'll stand still for a minute. You can see my health is a little bit low, so we're going to White Wind as soon as we come out of this. And he'll be doing another summon, a Minotaur, which sucks you into the middle and then does a large circle AoE, which you'll want to get out of. He's also doing Goldor Thunder, which will do random puddles, and the Exuviation dot. I swift cast Exuviation there so that I can not worry about the dot, get out of the center and dodge all of those puddles, and then a quick White Wind. At this point, he will tether to the crystal, as you can see, and at this point, he is no longer susceptible to magic damage. Everything will have to be physical from there on out. Now he's doing this summon, which is 4 of the cross AoE golems, a Calcabrina doll, and the suck in with the Minotaur. So he'll also put a blast on you, so you want to point that away from the safe zone from the Calcabrina and get behind one of the golems, and it's pretty easy to dodge from there. Here you can see he's doing Goldor Gravity once again, and this is just the same as the first time through. You just loom out of that, give it a cure because that does some pretty significant damage, loom out of it again, and then you can continue fighting him. Get a Lucid Dream in there. Now he's trying to do Blizzard again, so you'll interrupt that with Flying Sardine. Continue to whittle him down. Now at this part, I swift cast a Mighty Guard. You don't necessarily have to swift cast it, but you should turn it on. There are random lightning puddles, and as you can see, I'm about to be hit by one of them. Actually, I think I got hit by the Quake there. But it's hard to dodge all of those while continuously running because fire is also happening. You turn off Mighty Guard as soon as that mechanic is over, but that Mighty Guard means that you can survive at least one hit in there, so even with the randomness of the lightning mechanics, you can still probably survive that mechanic. One thing that you might notice during this is that in a later cycle of this, I actually leave Mighty Guard up on accident after a Goldor Rush. It's a silly mistake that will reduce your damage by quite a bit, but it's not a fatal error. It won't kill you or anything. It just means that the fight will be much longer for you. As you can probably tell, the mechanics have begun to repeat, so I will continue to let the video play out. However, I'm going to end my commentary right here and allow you to just watch if you would like. Otherwise, there will be a timestamp listed on the screen. You can skip to the end to see what to do once you have completed this challenge and how to purchase your umbrella. And with that, Goldor has been defeated. I already have the achievement, so it won't pop for me, but you can tell by a walk in the park, elemental mastery, and going for gold that I have completed all 3 of the challenges necessary to unlock that achievement. From here, I do get a little lost on the way, but if you head over to Maudlin Lajoule? We'll remember his name once we see it. We head over to Maudlin Latoulja and go to exchange allied seals. You'll find the Gentlemage's umbrella there for 800 allied seals. That's all there is for this tutorial. I hope I was able to teach you something and that the umbrella is coming your way soon. I'm Kibby.